The Grosvenor, November 4th, 1904. Oh dear, get out of that sewer. Party politics, dear Joe. At least with your mouth. We hail only two men who could make speeches for their parties and preserve their honor and their dignity. One of them is dead. Possibly there were four. I am sorry for John Hay, sorry and ashamed, and yet I know he couldn't help it. He wears the collar and he had to pay the penalty. Certainly he had no more desire to stand up before a mob of confiding human incapables and debauch them than you had. Certainly he took no more real pleasure in distorting history, concealing facts, propagating immoralities, and appealing to the sordid side of human nature than did you. But he was his party's property, and he had to climb a way down and do it. It is interesting, wonderfully interesting, the miracles which party politics can do with a man's mental and moral makeup. Look at McKinley, Roosevelt, and yourself. In private life, spotless in character, honorable, honest, just, humane, generous, scorning trickeries, treacheries, suppressions of the truth, mistranslations of the meanings of facts, the filching of credit earned by another, the condoning of crime, the glorifying of base acts. In public political life, the reverse of all this. McKinley was a Silverite. You concealed it. Roosevelt was a Silverite. You concealed it. Parker was a Silverite. You publish it, along with a shudder and a warning. He was unsafe then. Is he any safer now? Joe, even I could be guilty of such a thing as that if I were in party politics. I really believe it. Mr. Cleveland gave the country the gold standard. By implication, you credit the matter to the Republican Party. By implication, you prove the whole annual pension scoop, concealing the fact that the bulk of the money goes to people who in no way deserve it. You imply that all the batteners upon this bribery fund are Republicans. An indiscreet confession, since about half of them must have been Democrats before they were bought. You as good as praise Order 78. It is true you do not shout and you do not linger. You only whisper and skip. Still, what little you do in the matter is complementary to the crime. It means, if it means anything, that our outlying properties will all be given up by the Democrats and our flag hauled down. All of them? Not only the properties stolen by Mr. McKinley and Mr. Roosevelt, but the properties honestly acquired? Joe, did you believe that hearty statement when you made it? Yet you made it, and there it stands in permanent print. Now, what moral law would suffer if we should give up the stolen ones? But you know our standard-bearer. He will maintain all that we have gained. By whatever process. Land, I believe you. By George, Joe, you are as handy at the game as if you had been in training for it all your life. Your campaign address is built from the ground up upon the oldest and best models. There isn't a paragraph in it whose facts or morals will wash. Not even a sentence, I believe. But you will soon be out of this. You didn't want to do it. That is sufficiently apparent, thanks be. But you couldn't well get out of it. In a few days you will be out of it, and then you can fumigate yourself and take up your legitimate work again and resume your clean and wholesome private character once more and be happy and useful. I know I have to hand you some guff now as propitiation and apology for these reproaches, but on the whole, I believe I won't. I have inquired and find that Mitsukuri does not arrive here until tomorrow night. I shall watch out and telephone again, for I greatly want to see him. Always yours, Mark. P.S. November 4th. I wish I could learn to remember that it is unjust and dishonorable to put blame upon the human race for any of its acts. For it did not make itself. It did not make its nature. It is merely a machine. It is moved wholly by outside influences. It has no hand in creating the outside influences, nor in choosing which of them it will welcome or reject. Its performance is wholly automatic. It has no more mastership nor authority over its mind than it has over its stomach, which receives material from the outside and does as it pleases with it, indifferent to its proprietor's suggestions, even, let alone his commands. Wherefore, whatever the machine does, so-called crimes and infamies included, is the personal act of its maker, and he solely is responsible. I wish I could learn to pity the human race instead of censuring it and laughing at it. And I could if the outside influences of old habit were not so strong upon my machine. It vexes me to catch myself praising the clean, private citizen Roosevelt and blaming the soiled President Roosevelt, when I know that neither praise nor blame is due to him for any thought or word or deed of his, he being merely a helpless and irresponsible coffee mill ground by the hand of God.